John 13:34 and 35. A new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if you have love one to another. I want to talk this morning in our devotional from the topic, the mandate to love. The mandate to love. We know that today is traditionally what we call Maundy Thursday. And for many of us, this day is associated with the Lord's Supper. We know that this is the day that we traditionally say that Christ ate the final supper with his disciples. And in that supper, we also know that he washed his disciples' feet. So we associate this day with the activities that occurred at that final supper of Christ and his disciples. But we call it Maundy Thursday, not because of the Lord's Supper, not because of the feet washing. We call it Maundy Thursday because that word Monday, Mundi, comes from the Latin word mandatum. And that word means commandment. And when we read the discussion, the instructions that Jesus is giving there at the Lord's Supper, it's not about just what he did, it's what he commanded. And in one of his final moments with his disciples here, Jesus gives them this word, a new commandment, a new mandatum I give unto you, that you love one another as I loved you. And then he goes on to say, by this shall all men know that ye are my disciples. Let me just real quickly define love, because we use that word so freely, and we can often hear the command but still miss the meaning. So let me give you just a quick definition of love. Love is the deliberate decision to seek the good of another person, regardless of how it benefits you. I'm going to say it again. Love is the deliberate decision to seek the good of another person, regardless of how it benefits you. So love is not a feeling. Love is not fuzziness and warmth. Love is a choice. It is an action. It is a commitment. And it's not based on how people treat you. Love is based on how Christ treated you. So please don't evaluate, analyze, determine love based on people, because love is how Christ treated you, not how people treated you. And in this verse, these two verses that we read already, there are a couple of things that I want to bring out. First of all, the commandment is very clear. The new commandment is clear. He says, a new commandment I give unto you. So it's clear. This is not a suggestion. It is not an option. It is a commandment. He's not offering advice. He's giving a command. This means love is not optional for the believer. It is not something we practice only when it is convenient. It is not something we extend only to people that we like. It's not something that we extend only to people who look like us, who have the same status as us. It is a requirement of every disciple. Every person that follows Christ is under the mandatum, the commandment, the mandate to love. So the commandment is clear. And sometimes we substitute religious activities for real, true obedience. We attend church services. We participate in the Lord's Supper. We engage in acts of ministry. But Jesus is not asking for more activity. He's asking for obedience to his command, love one another. We don't get to follow Christ and ignore his command to love. I know people who are consistent in their worship, they're consistent in their activities, but they don't know how to follow and practice love. The commandment is to love. The second thing, the standard of this is Christ. Christ said in this teaching, love one another as I have loved you. So he does not leave the definition of love up to us. Love one another as I have loved you, as I have made the deliberate decision to seek good for you. Regardless of how it benefits me, I want you to do the same thing for one another. So he sets the standard himself, as I have loved you. That means our love must reflect his love. It has to be a love that is patient, a love that is consistent, a love that is sacrificial. It is the 1 Corinthians 13 kind of love, a love that continues even when it is not returned. He is the standard. Don't ever use anyone else as your model until you have first sought and modeled love after the love of Christ. And this is a challenge for us because we often love with conditions. We love when people respond right. I mean, we've all stopped seeking the good of others if we did not receive reciprocal benefits. We love when we feel appreciated, or we love when it is easy. But Jesus calls us to something higher. He says, love one another as I have loved you. I am the standard. You follow this standard. Watch what I do, and you do likewise. We have to have Christ-like love. And if we're going to just love only when people love us, then it's not really love. And if our love only works when it is easy, it's not Christ-like love. If it only works or is being demonstrated when benefits are received, it's not Christ-like love. Sometimes Christ will have people withhold the benefits just to give us a lesson in learning how to love one another. And the last point in this particular pericope of scripture, the evidence is going to be visible. He says, by this shall all men know ye are my disciples, because you love one another. Not because you wear a robe, not because you wear a turban, not because you wear a collar, not because you wear certain clothing that looks like Christians. No, by this shall all men know that you are my disciples, because you love one another. That evidence is going to be visible. Not our knowledge, not our titles, not even our worship, not even our denominations, but it's our love. This means the world should be able to recognize us not just by what we say, but by how we treat one another, regardless of how they look. Our love becomes our witness. It becomes our testimony. So the clearest evidence of discipleship is not what we say, but it's how we love. It's not in how we dance and shout and run on Sunday, it's how we love. So on this Monday, Thursday, let's reflect on the cross. Let's remember the Lord's table. Let's remember the feet washing. But let us not forget the command. The command is love one another. Some years ago, Dionne Warwick had a song, said, "What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love." And that's what we need today, especially if we are calling ourselves the disciples of Jesus Christ. By this shall all men know that you are my disciples, because you have love one for another. Let us practice, demonstrate, follow, obey the mandate to love.